This game is rated M for blood and gore, intense violence, strong language, and usage of alcohol.
Oh, how lovely. Don't put me back in control. Do not put me back in control. Do not put me back in control. I do not want to be stuck in a room with a fireplace demon. What did I just say?
And we're back on YouTube for episode 4 of Call of Cthulhu. I'm Spark with Sparkfield Gaming, and in this video we have our first encounters with any form of eldritch creature. Now we've had dreams about him, and we did come into contact with Mr. Hawkins, but he was... I don't know, I don't think I'm going to count that. Whatever your opinion may be. Today we encounter and banish a creature called the Shambler. It was referenced by Mr. Sanders in the previous episode, and, well, you can't look at it and tell me it doesn't look vaguely like the Quiet Place demon. Even though I'm well aware that they are aliens. So, in any case, let's get into it.
Who goes there?
Okay.
That nightmare again. I need a drink.
So, let's get into it.
Grave accusations. Do you realize what they mean?
I have a duty to the patients. That man is toying with their lives.
Who knows what he could do if...
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Like shit.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller and a nurse. Blood everywhere. My legs, the pain, I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the Institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed... demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, and chains, and tools of all kind.
Yes. I've been telling you that Fuller uses his patients as guinea pigs.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's the truth, Ethan. And I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in 1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably linked.
Most island families are that way. Captain Fitzroy's father was also a seaman aboard the Scylla.
Powerful families dominating everything.
Yes, and as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up
Did you
his
say
wife's
I'd remember
murder?
that, or I
That's
did
possible.
remember?
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
The rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital, and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel.
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well.
This
I'll
will
go to
affect
see
your destiny.
Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
No, it wasn't Sanders, it was Silas that was the housekeeper. Okay, so if they're grayed out, that means they're dead.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here. You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
By the way, while I'm thinking about it, who's your favorite Justice League Unlimited hero and villain?
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me
play
about
after this.
Sarah Hawkins.
Play
Oh,
mine.
of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
How broad is your imagination? Well, the reason I ask is because I decided to watch some Justice League Unlimited and was reintroduced to one of my favorite characters, The Question. If I had to choose my favorite Justice League Unlimited hero, it would probably either be The Question or Dr. Fate, and villain, it would probably either be Felix Faust. And I know that Equinox isn't in Justice League Unlimited, but he was a great antagonist for Batman the Brave and Bold. But yeah, comment down below who your favorites are.
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
It's terrible what happened to your husband, but I had nothing to do with it. I was injured, and I came across him in the hospital quite by chance.
Injured? Well, I'm delighted to see you in such fine fettle, Detective. Not everybody enjoyed such a prompt recovery.
I suppose Fuller does do miracles now and again.
Luck is obviously very kind to you. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A Shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can't imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Okay, so I guess we're reconstructing the scene.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
Why does he look like the G-Man?
A house of artists. Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He
Hello.
finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated. She despises Sarah Hawkins, but it's the painting she truly hates. Why? The Shambler. I need to see it.
Okay. Okay, so every 20 points they level up. Hold up. You guys saw that too, right? There was blood on that painting, and I just... I'm not tripping balls, am I?
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Like, there was legit blood on there, and then when I got closer, you're just like, nope, no blood here. Everything's fine. Nothing malicious at all. I can't be the only one who saw that, right?
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
Wait. I recall them referencing this book. When I found the summoning circle. Huh. So I just unlocked occultism level 2. Yay!
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
All's fair in love and war, I suppose.
Huh?
A strange Amerindian pendant. I could use one of those. These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Now, are we talking about Colombia as in the South American country, or Colombia as in the supercontinent? Because if it's the latter, then...
The man
wow,
transforms an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
The Scheisse... Oh, it's... This is he's choking the goose. Aha. A Shambler. Oh, lovely. Don't put me back in control. Do not put me back in control. Do not put me back in control. I do not want to be stuck in a room with a fireplace demon. What did I just say?
What the hell was that?
Okay. Hello? Hello? How are things on the... Oh.
Hi, so editing Sparky here. So the Shambler, real piece of work. It's basically a naked version of the Quiet Place demons, and just as annoying. You turn a light on, it sees you in spite of not having eyes. You walk too fast, it hears you in spite of not having ears. So you might be wondering, how do you defeat something like this? Well, short answer, you don't. There are actually a number of display cases around the art gallery with exotic daggers that you need to get and destroy the painting with. Real simple, right? Well, let's see.
Damn it! This dagger didn't...
Oh, well, that is so fucking cheap. Why would I expect anything less from you?
Oh, you thought that was the dagger you needed? No. I said daggers, plural. There's multiple daggers. And unfortunately for you, Sparky, only one of them is keyed into the Shambler's dimensional signature. Now, I'm usually against spoilers, but this was a really irritating part, so I'll tell you anyway, so just skip ahead if you don't want to. But, long story short, the art gallery is divided up into 3 main sections. The main hall and 2 side rooms. Kind of reminds me of something. But anyway, the Shambler's painting is displayed at the far side of the main hall. Using that as a reference point, if you look behind you, to your left was where I got the first dagger, and to the right is the room where the actual dagger is. In the far right corner, next to the hiding spot, is a dagger, which I believe was made of 2 main pieces of metal. That's the one you want. What I ended up doing was sneaking to the left back room, then moving across the hallway into the right one, breaking the display case before absolutely flooring it to the painting to destroy it. I don't know exactly how long this took, but it was not fun.
Damn. This dagger looks different.
No! Just to clarify, that is the dagger I need. Let me make it right for it.
Damn. This dagger looks different.
Yeah. Finally. I banished thee from amongst the hang. No, please do not. Do not. Stab it. fuck?
What's the matter with you?
Oh my god.
You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
It's nothing. I think I just drank too much.
That goes without saying. If you can't tell the difference between reality and fiction, then you're in real trouble.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I've still got things to settle with Irene.
Are you talking about canaries like cave canary? Because back when mining was just getting underway, it was common practice to use caves, or canaries in cages, and lower them into caves to see what the carbon dioxide content was. If the canary came back dead, then it was a pretty safe bet you would too. I think I'll play for a little while longer, since the majority of this episode has just been them talking and me getting my guts ripped out by a quiet place demon. Oh, and shout out to Game Skinny for being the player that I couldn't be. So these actually came out in the same year. I guess Eldritch Horror was all the rage in 2018. That's not good.
Where's the bookseller? Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
I wonder when this game is actually set, because there's no implication or reference to World War II. This dude is a World War I veteran. But it's clear that it's not closer to... I don't know. I don't know what it is. Well, this is going to be a good place to increase my medical expertise, quote unquote. Don't think I want to know what that is.
What happened here?
Should I put a nudity rating for this?
Let's start over. Where did they break in from? This burglar seems to be rather clumsy.
There we go, that's better.
What killed all these animals? What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What the... Charles Hawkins? What's happening to Hawkins? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess?
What the
Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe. Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
I get the distinct impression if I touch this, it's going to kill me. Or if I get the code wrong, that is.
Drake
Hello.
left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
If somebody finds these memoirs, there will be no doubt that I'm in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and my bones are still in this plane of reality in order that they may be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother if she is still of this world. And not a different plane of world. The following message is of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of imagination. Wonder who said that. Indeed, despite my preference for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. If by chance a person should, if perhaps a person, or should I say genius, was to match my intellect and find this guy really sounds full of himself, doesn't he? And find the combination of the safe, I would ask they deliver the content into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague, Professor Armitage of Miskatonic University. The content of the safe is not only a vast digest of knowledge, but also a weapon that I fear too dangerous to fall into the wrong hands. Then why make it? I hope that you will be able to appreciate the danger that this represents, and that you will act accordingly. In any event, I will neither be there to guide you nor to suffer from your actions.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills? What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
Aurelia? That was a place referenced in one of H.P. Lovecraft's works. The key that bears the Elder Sign is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of a cylindrical medallion hanging at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones. Again, another reference to H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos, were engraved at its center. Everything points back to Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer in press cuttings that mention the misdemeanor. Wow, this is really getting weird. Close that, close that, close that.
Arkham editions. Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions? Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions.
7 in total. Alright, I'll open the safe and then come in here. Assuming this safe doesn't send me on a wild goose chase to the other flipping side of the island.
Now, whatever would make you say that?
Things are not looking good.
I wonder if this speaks anything to the lore of the game. More of a symbolic sense.
A kind of chalice. The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on the same footing as a religion.
If you say so.
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
Aha.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham Editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Wait a minute. Cylinder 3 mentioned 9.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secret.
3, 6, 8. Wonder if that's what he's talking about, those stones. Perhaps there's more I've not found.
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge.
The Shambler. I mean, it even looks like the thing from The Quiet Place. Okay, so first number is 8, last number is 9.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
4. 8, 4, 9, I believe is the combination. No. You know, now that I think of it, both numbers 2 and 3 are connected to the book. Oh.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
Not that I can tell, but let's take a look and see if...
The Queen has little protection.
3. So it's either 3 or 4.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
Okay, so I need to figure out how many rubies are on here.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
No, it's actually 4, okay. There we go. Yeah, I should just dump that crap on the floor. Things are starting to get trippy. Wait, when he opened it, his mind was projected into another body?
Dr. Colden, this man's condition is deteriorating.
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me? I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I tried talking to him. He's catatonic.
Catatonia.
Did you inject him with a tranquilizer?
No, Doctor. Not me, not anyone. Our stock is empty, yet again.
Again? But there was enough for the whole island.
More and more people are suffering from insomnia. We can't refuse to help.
Of course.
Any
Yet
idea what this
somehow you
man
know.
might be undergoing?
What can you tell me about him?
He was highly agitated an hour ago. We were about to tie him down when he fell asleep. 10 minutes ago, he curled up into a fetal position. I thought he was waking up, but no.
Show me his file.
That's not possible.
Don't tell me Dr. Fuller has taken this file as well. We need it.
That's why I called you. This man's ailment has been hidden from us.
Come on now. What was he treated for?
An intoxication, I was told. After inhaling chemicals.
I don't recognize him. Did he just arrive on the island?
He said he worked on the docks, but not with Captain Fitzroy. I think he works for Ms. Baker.
Who?
You know, the woman at the head of their gang. They call her Cat.
Oh, I see.
Do you have other questions?
What are his symptoms?
His temperature has been going down, his skin losing its color, his body rigid. I closed his eyes myself. They were glassing over. I didn't want them to dry out, and I couldn't bear to look at the expression on his face.
You did well. Don't worry. Let's stay professional, if you will. That'll do for the time being.
Any idea what this man might be undergoing?
Very well. I'll examine him. 30-year-old subject. Severe hypothermia. Erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums. Necrosed palpebral tissue. Lord, this smell.
Ew.
His skin shows abnormal loss of color and seems dried out. He's totally dehydrated. His fingertips and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin. Tender at the touch. Slightly sticky.
Like tentacles? or
Severe
something?
malnutrition. Swollen abdomen with traces of petechia. Doesn't seem like an edema. Slight protuberances seem to indicate the presence of a foreign body.
So, Doctor, an opinion?
I'm not sure I have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Don't say that. You're our most worthy doctor after Dr. Fuller.
Some of his symptoms are beyond my comprehension.
What did you find?
Did you examine his abdomen? It would seem there's something inside.
He hasn't eaten in days. Are you certain it's not an edema?
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Pushing with your finger won't leave a trace. And look at these bumps.
It's not like he could be pregnant.
Whatever it is, this man has something inside him that shouldn't be there. We should operate on him at once.
Dr. Fuller said not to worry, that the edema would go away by itself.
You know, I'm not sure Dr. Fuller is telling the truth. In spite of the muscle contractions, his arms seem limp.
Yes. They can't have decalcified, not at this rate.
And yet, if there is a bone in this arm, it's softer than that of a newborn baby. What about his cranium?
It's soft at the touch. It does seem like the skull of a baby.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his fingertips. What can be happening?
I'm sure you'll find an explanation. You have to.
Is he turning into an octopus?
I see signs of hypodermoclysis, but he's still dehydrated. When was his last IV?
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond the recommended dose to no avail. And you won't believe me, but when we bathed him earlier...
He seemed to feel better?
Yes. Like he needs an aquarium, not a perfusion. But that doesn't explain his condition.
I almost don't believe it myself, but these symptoms are not those usually associated with the human species.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you believe in extraterrestrials.
No. This poor man is from our world, all right. But his body is undergoing unnatural mutations, and this transformation is killing him. His body simply can't cope.
Where could he have gotten such an infection?
I pray that it's not here.
Dr. Colden, may I know what you're doing to my patient?
What I'm doing? How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate your tone, nor your insinuations. I've done to him what I do to all my patients, provide him with the best available care.
Your imagination is without limit. It's your homemade drug again, is it not? Those people are not your guinea pigs.
There. What have you seen to put you in such a state?
These are alarming symptoms. If we don't act, he'll die.
Do you believe that? I'm not as convinced, you see. I even think this man has a strong chance of completely healing from his ailments.
No, Doctor. This patient isn't himself anymore. He's dying.
Really? What do you mean by isn't himself?
He's changing. His physical characteristics, they are more animal than human now.
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Could you be more precise? Cephalopod, perhaps?
That was an oddly...
This amuses you.
Your reaction does. I know your thirst for
When
knowledge,
you say
Doctor.
cephalopod,
It's your
that was,
innocent worries for
there
this
was
man
dozens of
that have
animals
you
you could have picked.
overreacting.
Cephalopod.
For
That
this
was
man
the one you...
and the others
picked.
whose medical files you've been hiding.
I have to protect my discovery. These people owe me their life, but the world isn't ready yet. It will be, in time.
I will not let you do this.
You disappoint me, Marie, but I still have hope you'll one day share my point of view. In the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not to forget who you're dealing with.
Was that a threat? What did he mean?
It was a warning. Dr. Fuller is this institution's founder and one of our profession's most influential voices. My word is of no weight against his. If I continue to protest, I will only ruin my reputation and career.
It's scandalous. Can't we do anything? Is there no evidence of his crimes?
Oh, that evidence exists. I'm sure of it. I need to find the missing medical files.
And where would you find those? In his office? What if you get caught?
I'd rather not think about that. I'm counting on your discretion.
Of course, Doctor. You can count on me. I'll keep mum.
And that has been episode 4 of Call of Cthulhu, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell down below so you know when new video releases. Or follow me on Twitter. I post all my YouTube videos there as well. Or if you just want to support the channel, you can support me on Twitter as well and on Reddit. And in any case, you all have a rest of your day, night, whatever time of day it is when you're watching. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.